As a mother, my worst nightmare had come true. I was going to have to bury my child before me. It's not supposed to be that way.
Heartbreaking testimony from the family of a girl killed at the Raleigh Christmas parade as the driver pleads guilty. What else was said and when he'll be back in court.
We're in for a warmer weekend, but it won't last forever. How high temperatures will climb and the cool down that'll bring us our next chance for rain.
And Toyota unveils its first battery manufacturing plant in the U.S. right here in North Carolina. The new jobs the company expects to bring to the area. And thank you for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. So the driver accused of hitting and killing an 11-year-old girl at the Raleigh Christmas parade 3 years ago pleaded guilty to 3 charges tonight. That little girl, Haley Brooks, died in 2022. Her family was in the courtroom for this today. The suspect, Landon Glass, was the one behind the wheel of that pickup truck that hit her. He pleaded guilty to those 3 charges against him: death by motor vehicle, obstruction of justice, and having a dangerous weapon at the parade. He could serve up to 8.5 months behind bars. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joining us live outside of the Wake County Courthouse. We mentioned that the Brooks family was in the courtroom today. I can't imagine how difficult that was for all of them.
Dan, it certainly was, and court was full of so many powerful moments, but something that really sticks with me is the moment that Haley's 2 younger siblings got up, came out, and made victim impact statements. Just a really heartbreaking moment, and they spoke about how much this entire experience has changed them. It's a sentiment that was expressed by pretty much everyone who spoke tonight.
Almost every seat in this Wake County courtroom was full, packed with friends and family of Haley Brooks, watching as Landon Glass pled guilty to the charges for her death. For more than 90 minutes, we heard from people close to Haley, including her mother.
As a mother, my worst nightmare had come true. I was going to have to bury my child before me. It's not supposed to be that way.
Several people addressed Glass directly.
Your actions have consequences. I cannot forgive you for what my entire family has gone through since November 19th, 22, because of your negligence.
Our cameras captured Glass walking free from the courtroom for the weekend while he awaits court to resume on Monday. His suggested sentence is 262 days, or 8.5 months, along with 3 years of probation. But because the victim impact statements didn't finish, Judge Ridgway was not able to sentence Glass officially, so family and friends are preparing to do this again next week.
Now, the judge did tell us tonight that this will resume on Monday at 9:30 a.m. Of course, we will continue to have reporters inside of that courtroom. Now, we did speak to Glass's attorney tonight, who says that he will make a statement on behalf of Glass, but we do not know at this point if Glass himself will speak. Dan?
All right, we will wait to see what happens there. Heidi, you did mention that Haley's siblings spoke in court today, and I know that you could not record video of those statements, but were you able to write down any of what they said or what that was like?
Absolutely. I mean, that is a moment that will probably stick with me for the rest of my life. Really, really powerful moments. And I want to refer to my notes here because I did get a chance to write down a little bit about what they said. You know, Haley's sister describes her as a bright light, someone who just lit up any room that she walked into, you know, her love of dance and just being someone who had the most delightful laugh. And there's specifically one quote that I want to read out to you from her sister, which just really sits with me tonight. She says, "Landon, I forgive you, but I hope you realize your foolish actions took away a loving, kind, caring sister." Again, just let that sit with you. Really heartbreaking in so many ways. And of course, this is a story that we have followed and we will continue to follow in the years to come. Dan?
All right. Heidi Kirk, live for us tonight. Thank you, Heidi.
Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. And all new at 7 o'clock, an autopsy has revealed that the Fuquay-Varina man who died while on vacation in Florida this summer accidentally drowned. You recall the story of 18-year-old Giovanni Pelletier of Fuquay. He was visiting family in Florida, last seen on August 1st, and then his body was discovered about a week later in a retention pond in Manatee County, Florida. The medical examiner says that it was an accidental drowning. The toxicology report revealed nothing unusual, nothing remarkable there. The medical examiner says video evidence from around that time shows that Pelletier was active and alone at the time, supporting the idea that no one else caused his death.
Got it. All right, Brian, thank you. So let's roll through some of the other big headlines tonight. These are the 5 things you should know right now. A missing woman from Johnston County has been found dead in Wake County. 77-year-old Linda Arrington was found near the I-87, I-40 interchange today. A silver alert was issued for her earlier this week after she wandered away from a gas station in Smithfield. The medical examiner's office will determine her cause of death. Durham County deputies arrested a man accused of assaulting a woman. The breaking news tracker was on the scene along Andrew Avenue this morning. Deputies arrested Ronaldo Harris. He faces a charge for assaulting, inflicting serious injury. A woman is in the hospital with serious injuries now. A developer is appealing Tarborough's denial of a permit to build a huge data center there. Energy Storage Solution wants to build a 52-acre spot there near Anaconda Road and McNair Road. The filing claims that the permit request hearing was mishandled and, among other things, relied on public sentiment instead of objective evidence. All of the debris is now out of Lake Lure. More than a year after Hurricane Helene, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and other contractors have worked so hard to clear out that area. More than 1.2 million cubic yards of debris. Lake Lure has been closed since the storm hit because of all of the debris that was there. The town plans on refilling the lake and having it ready for visitors by May. The new water wheel at historic Yates Mills County Park in Raleigh is complete. Crews rebuilt that 12-foot wheel from scratch. It took about 2 years, though, to rebuild it. The former water wheel was over 20 years old and started to deteriorate. The mill dates back much further than that, back to 1756. It's the oldest one in Wake County. The mill yard at historic Yates Mill Park will open next weekend. Toyota's new $12 billion battery plant in North Carolina is pretty impressive. WRAL got to take a trip inside this week. This place will employ thousands of people, making hundreds of thousands of car batteries every year. But the focus isn't on fully electric cars, at least not yet. To find out Toyota's goals for our state in the near and long term, Ashley Rose spoke to WRAL's Grace Holland, who spoke to executives there and toured the facility.
Grace, you took a tour of this battery plant. This was a big deal for them to invite media and other elected officials to the plant to check out what was going on. Interesting perspective for you because you lived in Greensboro for 3 years. You knew this plot of land when it was just a barren field. What was it like going there?
Yeah, this all came about in the middle of my time in Greensboro. So the last time I saw it, I think maybe they had just started, tilling up the land and everything. So to come there, and first of all, the road improvements, it used to be a much more narrow road. Now there's, big highway signs directing you to the entrances and stuff. And then when you actually get onto the property to see these big warehouses there, it's really come a long way. This is something that officials in Greensboro, Guilford County, Randolph County worked really hard to get there, not to mention state officials.
This state has been pouring in hundreds of millions of dollars towards this battery plant. And it's all part of their bigger picture strategy for green energy. When it comes to Toyota specifically, this battery plant isn't just about electric vehicle battery production, though. They're being really strategic. I thought it was interesting that they're working on hybrid batteries. What's going on there? Why are they doing that and not going all in on the EV market?
Right. So Toyota breaks this down to a really simple strategy. They call it 1-6-90, and that really tells you the capacity. So for every one battery electric vehicle that the company can make, they can make 6 plug-in electric hybrid vehicles, or they can make 90 hybrid electric vehicles. So there's a really big difference in the capacity of creating these vehicles right now, the limitations there. But what Toyota says that they follow more than that is what customers are looking for. So customers in the U.S. prefer hybrids at this point. So that's why this plant is focusing on hybrids right now. That's where they've started.
Now, this is in the triad. This big battery plant is in the triad, but there are ripple effects that really happen across the state because of this battery plant. Let's talk about just sort of the bigger picture here and the impacts that this plant has on the greater state.
Right now, that plan employs 2,000 people. Now, if you live in Raleigh or Durham, that's like an over an hour commute for a lot of people. Those folks may not want to work there, but if you're talking about Pittsboro, it's 35 minutes or so. I mean, that's totally doable for some folks, and you don't have to deal with as much traffic. I learned that driving out there. So on that front, you could see that, and they are wanting to ramp that up from 2,000 jobs right now to 5,000 by 2034. So they are looking to hire more people, and while we're taking the time to get there, Toyota's really investing in education in our state. Now, this week, they donated $2.7 million to the school districts that are like really, really close right there to that facility. But they also have made some investments with the colleges, the universities in our state. NCA&T is a great example of this. They have a really strong partnership there.
And when we talk about the future, Toyota had said that they are planning on investing another, $10 billion into the country. Makes me wonder, could North Carolina see a good chunk of that because of the relationship that it has with Japan?
Right, and that was my other question as well to these executives. And they were tight-lipped about what that money is going to go towards here in the U.S. They do not know, or were not willing to say whether any of that money is going to come to North Carolina. But again, given the amount of investment that they've already done, it's hard to think that some of that wouldn't come here.
Grace, thanks.
Thank you to Ashley and Grace. Now, look, the news covers so many different stories. It can be hard to keep up. Some are bad, some are good, some are a little of both. Between the government shutdown, tuition increases at UNC, and an election, there's plenty to talk about, good and bad. Plenty of all rights and oh no's. That's after the break. Kat?
And a beautiful weekend is ahead coming up. I'll have a closer look at some of the best hours to be outside, and we'll take a little sneak peek at the extended outlook for Thanksgiving week.
We cover a lot of stories on the news. There's so much going on. Unless you watch every single night, it can be hard to keep up. And even then, even if you do watch every night, it's still hard to keep up. But not all stories are bad. I know some people give us a bad rap for doing that. No, see, a lot of the news has a little bit of bad and a little bit of good. So why don't we go through some of the stories that made us say, all right, and oh no. Let's start in downtown Raleigh at the Museum of Natural Scientists. The scientists there figured out that the fossils in that dueling dino exhibit were not a T-Rex like they thought. Oh no. But it turns out it's a totally different species, a Nanotyrannus lithaeus, a brand new dinosaur discovered and announced to the world from right here at home. All right. After 43 days, the government shutdown is over. Airports will start getting back to normal. Federal workers will get a paycheck again. All right. But the deal was made without extending those subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, making health care for thousands very unaffordable. Premiums could rise as high as $2,500 a month. Oh, no. But the deal does include funding for SNAP. People using food stamps can feed their families. All right. But a different piece of the deal went under the radar. A federal ban on THC from hemp. All those THC gummies, vapes, and drinks you keep seeing everywhere are about to be illegal. A thriving industry in North Carolina about to disappear. Oh, no. We had Election Day in an odd-numbered year. Mayors, city council members, and comptrollers all on the ballot. Usually, not a lot of voters show up for this. But this year was different. North Carolina saw record turnout. 700,000 people performing their civic duty. All right. But voters might not have been plugged into the local issues like they should have been. Data shows most folks cast ballots based on the national issues, voting down party lines, bringing political polarization to races that are supposed to be nonpartisan. Oh, no. UNC and NC State voted to raise in-state tuition for the first time in 9 years. Oh, no. But it's only a 3% raise. It's like $200 a year. All right. But all the other stuff, it's going up too. Housing, meal plans, and fees, meaning the real price hike is more like $1,100 a year. Oh, no. Last one. RDU announced next steps to expand the airport. Upgraded roadways, more security checkpoints, and more parking. All right. But the full project won't be complete until close to 2035, meaning more construction and traffic in that area for the next 10 years. Oh, no. Let's end with an all right, because the weather is perfect this weekend and it's got us feeling pretty good.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than this in November. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. We don't have any rain in the forecast. Really no issues weather-wise for the weekend, but things will change as we get into next week. That's when we really start to see more changes. 74 tomorrow, 76 Sunday. Tomorrow, we've got some clouds rolling in. So tomorrow, that may be the teeny tiny little issue in your day. Sunday, it will be pretty windy outside. Winds could gust up to 25 miles per hour. But our next chance for rain will come next Tuesday. Let me warn you, it doesn't look like it's going to be a whole lot of rain, but it is our best and really only chance for rain late Tuesday into Wednesday morning of next week. High pressure is our next weather maker, though. This one is in control of our local forecast for the weekend. The one that brings us rain chances is way off toward the West Coast and the Pacific right now. We've got a cold front that'll slip through this weekend, some clouds out ahead of it tomorrow. The cold front itself passes early on Sunday. It'll bring gusty winds with it and some clouds, but that's about it. And it doesn't cool down immediately. It's still very warm Sunday. By Monday, though, we see high pressure building in from the west, and that is going to give that push of cooler air really what it needs to make it past the mountains and reach our part of the state. We do begin to cool down early next week. And then here comes the warm front that'll bring us the chance for rain Tuesday, late Tuesday. It doesn't look like a whole lot of rain with it. But let's talk about the extended outlook. And I want to point this out specifically because it goes out through Thanksgiving week now. Above normal rainfall is in the forecast for the central part of the country. And then for us here on the East Coast, we're near or maybe slightly above normal for precipitation. I want to watch this, though. This is something that points out, hey, Thanksgiving week, we could have a storm system develop in the central part of the country, and that's something to watch closely for travel. During the same time frame, we do have a better feel locally for the temperature outlook, and it looks like above normal temperatures, and the darker the shades of red mean the higher confidence in that forecast. It's important to put that into perspective for you, though. What is normal for Thanksgiving? Upper 50s with lows in the mid to upper 30s. So even things like 65, say, for a high would be considered above normal, even though some people may consider that cool. We'll watch it for you. And if you are curious about Thanksgiving, I have a full write-up on an early look at the forecast on WRAL.com. For tonight, low temperatures are in the low to mid 40s. Tomorrow, we are back in the low to mid 70s for highs. Gorgeous weather all around tomorrow, just some clouds that roll in, but it's still going to be fairly bright. These are upper level clouds, so you may need your sunglasses despite mostly cloudy skies. Sunday, we've got the wind, and then Monday, the sun is back in full force. It ends up being a gorgeous day outside. Next week, we got a lot going on, and the weather looks pretty good, just that small chance for rain. We've got the Festive Bowl of Lights in Durham Thursday, the Christmas Parade next Saturday. It's getting to be that time of year. It's gonna snowball really fast. We end up with Thanksgiving, the tower lighting, so many fun things coming up.
We love these warm days, but we like the cold ones too. We don't have many more of these upper 70s potentially days left, do we?
No, we don't. We average 3 days, though, at or above 75 in November. We've already met that criteria, so I wouldn't count on too many more. But some 70s, yes. Above 75, probably not.
Thank you, Kat. Hey, you know, it is that time of year to get outside and do a corn maze, maybe. You know, there's actually quite a few of them here in our area. We found a story in the WRAL archive to show you when our team navigated their way through one. And it's a story we'll have for you after the break. Is there anything that says fall like a corn maze? Nobody's navigating a labyrinth in a field in the middle of winter or summer. No, that is a fall thing. Ken's corny corn maze in Garner is a fan favorite in our area. A few years ago, they made a WRAL-themed corn maze. And, of course, Mike Maze was a central part of it. I mean, obviously, it's right there in the name. Another popular corn maze in our area is the Gross Farms area in Garner. This is what it looked like this year, saying support local farmers. Pretty amazing, right? Both of those corn mazes are closed for the season, but fall is far from over. So we went into the WRAL archive and found a story from when we navigated the Gross Farms corn maze back in 2003. Great to have you with us. Have a great weekend as we leave you with this, your Friday moment of nostalgia.
15 acres of corn, but not just any cornfield. This one is cut in an intricate pattern, a maze.
I do know this is the entrance to the large maze. And I can get lost myself out here to begin with. It takes several weeks for me to get used to how to get in and out.
The ins and outs of corn maze can be tricky, both in finding your way around and farming this new crop.
It's a lot more challenging just putting in tobacco or harvesting a cotton crop or soybean crop.
For Lee County farmer John Gross, the corn maze is a way to keep farming.
I think if we stay in farming, it's going to come to things like this, but it's not for everybody. The hardest thing probably is just dealing with the public.
This corn maze is one element of an up-and-coming change in agriculture. It's called agritourism, or selling the farm life to those in the city.
County Extension Agent Don Nicholson says this will not replace all the lost tobacco acres in the state. Only a few corn mazes will be able to be profitable in an area, and it takes a special farmer.
And I can tell them truthfully sometimes that the answer is no, you probably shouldn't ought to go into something like this.
This is the second year for Gross, and it appears to be a success on his farm. He says one interesting point is he sees the difference in the people who get lost in the maze.
The men don't want to ask directions. The women do, but their husbands won't let them. After about the fourth or fifth time by, they'll finally ask directions.
Although farming is changing, some things never do. Dan Wilkinson, WRAL News, Lee County.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.